Yo, it's your boy Deezy, man. You already know it's not about the setback, it's about the get back. What's going on out there, man? What's goody, man? I appreciate all of y'all that watches the channel. I appreciate everybody that subscribed, man. I appreciate y'all. And it's another day. We taking it one day at a time, man. And we working. We here tonight. And I don't know if y'all know, but them people be playing real dirty, man. And it's not fair. They got like a heavy advantage, right? In the game. They got a heavy advantage because the people that they work for are presiding over the situation. Is the referee. So they got a big advantage. But this time right here, right? The judge ain't go for it, man. The judge ain't go for it, man. Like, the prosecution knows what they be doing when they do stuff like this. They raided Diddy's cell now, violating his constitutional rights, man. His attorney-client privilege. He was writing a note to give to his lawyer. Now, no matter what was on the note now, I want to tell y'all that with the game. No matter what was on the note, they still can't keep the note and use the note against him if he was writing it to his lawyer. It's his attorney-client privileges. So, Diddy right there got a win. For real, because the judge sees that the prosecution is playing dirty. And that's how they do. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's how they do. They play real dirty, man. They know they wasn't supposed to raid that man's legal mail. And they got somebody monitoring his legal mail. They really got somebody monitoring his legal mail, but the person was taking pictures of it. They said it's an investigator. He was taking pictures and he's sending it to the prosecution. Now that's ill right there. That's ill right there for real. Like, the judge might look at it like y'all not giving him a fair chance to fight because y'all already got all the phone calls monitored. Everything is under siege. Why do y'all want to try to play with the legal mail and violate his rights? And then what they're doing with that is they hinder the case because this is pre-trial situation. By them doing that, when the trial comes up, he has appeal rights because they violated his rights by obtaining evidence to try to use against him illegally, violating his attorney-client privileges. I'm going to tell you, they play a lot of dirty games, man. And it ain't fair, really, though, how they do that. And then they don't express to the public what's going on. But when they want to express to the public, like to try to assassinate the character, they got details. But they don't want to say that they obtained something illegally and they know they shouldn't have did that when it was attorney-client privilege, but they don't want to tell the people that. And that's what should be addressed also, man. They should be telling us that. You know what I'm saying? And with so much of these people coming out, it just makes it look crazy. Like, the judge see y'all gotta go and try to obtain something illegally when y'all supposed to have all this evidence. What's going on? It might help Diddy get a bail though. But I'm gonna play this little news clip real quick and let y'all check this out. It might help Diddy get a bail, man. You feel me? I ain't even gonna cap.
A legal victory today for Sean Diddy Combs in court late today.
The judge ordered prosecutors to destroy some items that they found in Combs's jail cell. He has been behind bars since September, of course, while awaiting trial on sex trafficking and other charges.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with what happened today. Darla.
Bill and Sandra, in the most non-legal terms possible, defense attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs accused prosecutors of trying to make them fall for the okie doke. They say that prosecutors illegally accessed Sean Combs' legal notes from his prison cell, and they say they had no idea that the prosecution even had those notes until they used some of Combs' words verbatim in a legal filing. Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs claiming the October raid at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn was a ruse just to search the hip-hop icon's prison cell and locker. In court Tuesday afternoon, his attorney telling the court there's no reason to search these legal files for cell phones or weapons or drugs, and calling for an investigation into the violation of attorney-client privilege. A federal judge asking federal prosecutors why were they taking photos of Mr. Combs' notes. Prosecutors responding, the BOP is part of a covert grand jury investigation into the defendant's ongoing criminal conduct. Diddy's attorney calling it a complete institutional failure, saying BOP has an investigator assigned to monitor Combs' communications. That investigator's taking pictures of the legal notes and turning them over to the U.S. Attorney's Office after the October search. Prosecutors arguing the government was within its legal authority to have them, but a federal judge disagreed, ordering prosecutors to destroy the notes, also saying nothing from those documents will be considered during the upcoming bail hearing on Friday. Now, as for Sean Combs, he walked into court today smiling, hugging all of his attorneys. You could see that he was scanning the courtroom for any family members. None of them were here at this appearance today, which is a departure from some of his previous court hearings. And one thing to note about his appearance is that today he had a lot more gray hair than he had when we saw him last month in court.
Hey, man. Diddy got a shot, man. And I'm going to play some other clips from the Law and Crime Network where some of the people and lawyers were talking about some of the legal things that favor for Diddy. They know well that they do this kind of stuff all the time, right? And that's crazy that the only time we really understand and hear about it is when it's a public situation. When people don't have these public situations, you don't hear about it, man. And they do this all the time. They just do things so illegally and violate your constitutional rights just because they can. And they can't be checked about it. It's like if they do it and they get caught, only thing that happens is they just throw whatever is out. That happened with Young Thug too. They found some evidence that they obtained illegally and the judge said you can't use it, and they threw it out. That game is ill, man. It's rough. They play the game so dirty, and y'all got the advantage already. Why you gotta play it like that? And all these accusations made on Diddy, I'm sure he might be guilty of something. But to the extent that these people are going, it's like some of this has to be made up. I don't know how y'all feel, but to me, it's like it gotta be some of this has to be made up, man. Because everybody is coming out crazy. And for them to be trying to go in his cell to get some extra paperwork so that they can add to the case, right? Why y'all gotta do that? Y'all know something sound fishy, man. I really think that Diddy just got himself in something, and hopefully he can get a technicality to get back. You know what I'm saying? That because when they play dirty, right, it takes my mind off of whatever the person did. Play fair, man. Give a person their due process, man. Don't try to take advantage because you got the upper hand and you know how to use the law to a certain degree that others don't, right? And you got the advantage to go backdoor something. Like, that's the game that it take my focus off of the guilty or not guilty. Y'all playing dirty, man, he not guilty then. Why you got to play dirty with somebody that's already guilty? Come on, man. That's what's deep about this game that they do. They tell you everything they want to tell you when they trying to feed you that energy about somebody and let you look at them for the way they want you to look at them. But they don't tell you when they do dirty stuff and they're obtaining things illegally to try to make things look a certain way to try to strengthen their case. That's deep right there, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. And they continue to do it, man. It's like, if you got the case and you know you gonna get a conviction, why not play the case out the way you playing it out? You understand what I'm saying? If you know you got the case and he's guilty without a reasonable doubt, why you want to try to go and do something slick to try to build your case? It's like the games that they play with the system is beyond out of control when they already know they doing wrong. Like, come on, man. Why do that? And it's a process, man. It's like they're that hungry for convictions of people that they gotta violate your constitutional rights, and then you just gotta fight that on the back end. Like, come on, man. But I'm glad, honestly, that the judge in this situation, he's seen through the prosecution. And I'm gonna let y'all hear that what the lady said. He's seen through the prosecution that they were trying to do something that they wasn't, man. He like, come on, man. It's the man's legal stuff. Oh, but no, they was taking pictures of it, sending it to the prosecution. Like, he's already under a microscope. Like, seriously. And they got somebody in there taking pictures of his legal work. The judge might let him free, honestly. The judge might say, listen, I'm going to let you go on bail because you get a fair chance to fight your case. And that's how they coming at the judge now. Diddy's attorneys is coming at the judge like, we can't get a fair trial because I can't get everything to my client and my client's not getting everything because they playing with the legal work. That might get a W for him on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Did he go on Friday for the bail hearing? It might get him a straight W. He can go ahead and fight his case from the street. And then they saying that it was somebody else, the Amercami and Fitch guy. He got a $10 million bail and they let him go home on house arrest. And he had tampering with witness situation. So if they try to say Diddy had a tampering with witness, he had the same thing. And Diddy was offering 50 million. So they might be like, y'all playing dirty with the evidence. Y'all trying to build something. And they made him throw it all out too. So the judge might really look at him like they playing dirty with the evidence. Y'all playing games. So y'all got to throw that out. And we going to let him go ahead on bail. And if he hang himself, he hang himself. The judge might really give him a shot and say, yo, if Diddy go out here and play himself, we're going to lock him back up. And have him under some type of, like, you know, where they got somebody at the door. You know, they got armed security, whereas though somebody's there working for the people, monitoring him, and he got to pay for it. You know, that's how they do like NBA YoungBoy. But Diddy better know that if the judge do give him a bail, he better not play with them people. Don't contact no witnesses. That's the thing. And I'm trying to think that he was trying to tell his lawyer something about one of the witnesses, and that's probably what he had written on his legal note, right? So, you know, they're going to flip the situation. You got one of your witnesses' names written down, you saying something about them. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they're going to look at it. You wrote somebody's name down, oh, you saying something about them. And now they want to take it. But the judge ain't even allow it, though. That's how you know the judge is like, I think y'all playing with me, but y'all not. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I see that. You better be real. The judge is on that one, man. I can respect the fair judge. And I'm going to be real. That's just me personally. I can respect the fair judge because a lot of judges will go with their buddies. That's their buddy. So, but when they like lay the foot down from the beginning, like, don't play with me. This is like something like the Judge Glanville on Young Thug's case should have did. If he would have laid that thing down, how this situation went with the second judge that Thug had, it would have been different. But he came out there and he like really set a tone, honestly. Judge Glanville set a tone. Whereas though, if you are on TV as a judge and you're doing over a big case, you better be on point because he looked the worst. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? But with the Diddy situation, he looking at it like, if I get the bail, I got to do right. They said he was in there standing tall. I ain't even going to lie. They said, man, listen, I'm ready to play it. Let me get it on there, man. Hold up. Let me get this one on here, man. They said he was in there standing tall, though. I'm ready to play it in just a second. Hold up. Yeah. They said he was in there standing tall, man. You want to check her out.
And a notebook. So I actually got into courtroom the courthouse, I should say, around 2:15, and thank goodness I did because it really paid off because it was kind of stacked as far as a lot of press trying to get inside that hearing, and I was very lucky to be able to sit inside the gallery because a lot of journalists were worried that they weren't even going to be able to make it into the hearing. The hearing was on a completely different floor than it was last time in a lot smaller of a courtroom, and really lucked out being able to sit in the gallery kind of on the right side, just like I was sitting last hearing in October. But you know, a big difference in this hearing compared to last is Diddy's family wasn't even inside the courtroom. They didn't appear inside court today, likely because this was an emergency hearing and we just got notification of it literally yesterday. So no sign of his sons, no signs of his daughters, no signs of his mother inside that courtroom hearing. But one thing that, and I guess I should say, it doesn't really surprise me as much anymore, but it is Diddy's demeanor. I was expecting, because his family wasn't here, for him to be a little more somber, a little more defeated in a way, but that is not Diddy. Literally his motto, besides being a bad boy for life, is can't stop, won't stop, and you cannot stop that confidence that he has when he appears inside the courtroom. I was very surprised to see that he had come inside. He had kind of smiled at the gallery. I felt in a way he even made eye contact with me, which was very kind of bizarre in a way, but at the same time he was just appearing as that confident Sean Diddy Combs that we have seen plenty of times in the images, of course, in the stories that we have covered prior. And again, he was an enamored figure once ago, but you know, you would think that being about to be on trial for sex trafficking charges, that he would feel defeated. Being in a detention center for the last 2 months, he would feel defeated, but that was not the case. He appeared very jovial. He was very very focused, in the sense of when the defense was making their arguments to the judge, Combs was sitting at the defense table nodding his head along. He was taking notes. He was passing notes to his defense attorneys. But then at the the same time, you could also tell, going back to when he had first come inside that courtroom, was that I think he recognizes that a lot of people are watching him. There's never going to be a moment out of our mouths that we say Sean Combs looked defeated, because again, all eyes are on him. So he's going to make sure everyone is aware that he is in upper or higher spirits, I should say, as he's kind of battling this very heavy court case. But again, when he was inside that courtroom, he was very laser focused. He was, when the judge was asking about the notes and the whole debacle that was going on about that, Combs appeared very adamant that these were legal notes that were taken. They did violate attorney-client privilege. But again, you know, what else are we expecting from a man other than Sean Diddy Combs?
There's one thing that's so interesting about that description. Two things. One, you know, the first time we heard Sean Combs recently was on that happy birthday call from his family, and he actually sounded on the other line jovial. So I'm not surprised you saying that he kind of has this upbeat mentality. I am very curious about the judge's demeanor. So we were reading kind of the transcript about what the judge was saying, but in your best guess, the way the judge was responding to the prosecution, did he seem annoyed at the prosecution? Did he seem to be more aligned with the defense? Because, I mean, based on the transcript, it seemed he was not only open to the defense's accusations, the defense's claims, but he seemed to side with them a little bit. What was his demeanor like?
Yeah, for sure. And you picked that up 1,000%, even from outside the courthouse. It felt that way, too. It felt like the judge was very no nonsense. The judge had a lot of follow-up questions for the government and their arguments about what kind of occurred, how it occurred, all of that sort. And so it did appear that the defense was going to get a win in this case. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see how Friday all plays out. But I gather that the judge was very much no nonsense when it comes to kind of siding with the defense on whether or not that Fourth Amendment and that attorney-client privilege was violated. And I thought for a second there, the government didn't sound as kind of put together as they should have been, because in this case, when you're dealing with somebody like Sean Diddy Combs, you have to cross your T's, dot all your I's, and make sure your ducks are in a row. So I was actually kind of surprised at the government's arguments of everything that kind of occurred, where it was either that, you know, they didn't feel the defense needed to hear or see these types of items. They didn't feel that they needed to be in their possession. And so the judge kind of called them out on it. And I was very surprised that, you know, thinking that the defense would get a win in this argument, but we're going to continue, to wait and see how this all plays out, especially on Friday.
Yeah, it's interesting because maybe the prosecution wasn't prepared, because this was a kind of an emergency hearing requested by the defense. They were probably making sense of what had happened themselves with the filter team and investigator one from the Bureau of Prisons who obtained this material from Sean Combs' jail cell. But look, interesting development. We're going to cover more on Friday. Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse.
Now,
Yo. Yeah. Like they said, man, they obtained the stuff illegally. And they had to get rid of it, man. So that was a win for Diddy. That was a win for him. And being as though that the prosecution is playing dirty, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good when the bail hearing come Friday for him. They might allow Diddy to make bail. Let me see, hold up. They might allow Diddy to make bail. Hold up. Yeah, they might allow him to make bail.
Immediately there's a sanction on the prosecution, and that is the prosecution is seeking to oppose Sean P. Diddy Combs' release from jail because of alleged witness tampering. However, they got to that witness tampering by intercepting attorney-client privilege, and so they cannot use it. So that is basically a ruling that, at least for that bit of information, it's a possibility that that was attorney-client privilege. They didn't take the necessary safeguards, and now they can't use it. Doesn't mean Diddy's going to get released, but it means it's a lot better for the defense that they cannot use that. We also now know that there is a potential for a superseding indictment, likely adding on charges of obstruction of justice. But if it's found that that indictment was generated as a result of the violation of attorney-client privilege and work product, then more than likely that indictment is not going to stand. They might have killed their own case by the way in which they gathered this evidence. So those are the things that pop up in my mind.
Saf, I'll give you an opportunity to respond if you agree with Natalie, but also throw this out. We have a question from Tiffany Marcinak on YouTube. If not a dismissal, which doesn't seem to be what the case is, I wonder if this is used to grant him bail. So again, the question is, how does this affect Friday?
Definitely. So I 1000% agree with Natalie to answer your question first and foremost. To the issue of bail, I don't think that these things are going to be considered for bail. And in fact, it appears that the prosecution tried to use some of this information in opposition to Mr. Combs' bail application, but the judge seems to be striking certain parts from that opposition, or is not going to consider those parts of those documents or whatever they might be for the bail application.
Big update from court. Okay, so this is interesting. First, the judge says, Sean Combs' lawyer says they should preserve the video. The prosecution says fine. This is the part I want to address. So, Natalie, the judge says, what about the Jeffries case in Eastern District of New York? Talking about Mike Jeffries, who was arrested on sex trafficking. The judge says the government released him on a $10 million bail. This is in the Eastern District of New York. Be prepared to address the difference there, and the prosecutor says it's very different. That was one of the arguments, Natalie, that Sean Combs' defense team raised. Another high-profile individual. Why does he get $10 million bail and my client doesn't? Wow, the fact that the judge might be entertaining that.
Yes, I think that's very interesting. I don't know with the Jeffries case if there's any allegation of witness tampering. We know that before this raid and the interception of attorney-client work product privilege, the prosecution had already raised that Sean P. Diddy Combs was reaching out to witnesses, but that was a bit more ephemeral. They couldn't exactly say what he was saying to these witnesses, and he had not yet been indicted. And now with the judge saying he's not going to consider the new information, they are going to have to distinguish him from the other case. Why is that important? Because it's important to have fairness across the board, right? So similarly situated defendants charged with the same thing should have similar bail and release conditions. There shouldn't be differences if they're pretty much the same. So that's very interesting. And I'm think it's going to rise and fall on the previous allegations that were made of witness tampering.
So I want to let everybody know that the hearing is over. The judge is now going to see both parties on Friday for that bail hearing. We plan to cover it here on Law and Crime the very same way, but I don't want anybody to go anywhere because we're waiting for Elizabeth Milner to come out of that courthouse, give us an update.
Hey, man. Everybody deserves a fair due process, man. Let's be real, man. Let's be real. Everybody deserves a fair due process. No matter if you think they're guilty or not guilty. They deserve a fair due process. And they play so dirty, man. And the only time it's caught is when it's in the public eye. Or you get a good judge that'll oversee an appeal and he'll say, man, I know they was wrong, man. I gotta turn it. But they play so dirty, you gotta fight to get that back. That ain't just something that just pops out. But this so public, the judge is being fair. You gotta respect them when they being fair. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Just be fair, man. Stop using your advantage to do people like that. That's the only thing that tweaks me out about them. It's like, why do you gotta play the game unfair when you already have the advantage? Come on, man. The victims you said you got, they're coming to you. You have the victims. You have the evidence. Why you gotta take it to the extent to violate my rights? Go through my legal mail. This my legal mail, my rights. But the constitutional rights don't apply when they don't want them to apply. That's the crazy thing. They don't apply when they don't want them to apply. But they apply when they want them to apply. That's not fair to play the game like that, man. It's not fair that they play the game like that. And we gotta fight. It's rough. In this situation, Diddy is on the line for his life. And they playing dirty. They want to check him all the way out. This coming down from the come down. This done hit too many hands, man. Let's be real, man. Let's be real. This done hit too many hands, man. Too many hands done want Diddy knocked out. Everybody want Diddy gone. This what I tell you about befriending people, man. And you making those relationships that end up coming back to bite you. I'm sure something might be wrong. You know, he done something wrong. Everybody's done something wrong. We don't know exactly, but for so many people trying to annihilate him at this point in time, man, he done really got somebody mad. And I'm going to be real. Diddy got somebody mad. Because they are really on a mission to destroy everything about him. And people just coming out left and right. But you know, he been in the game 30 years, man. 30 years. So it's some sick things that have happened probably over them years. We don't know. The victims, you know, I can, you know, feel for the victims, the real victims, because that is ill if somebody really did something sick to somebody, you know. But with the Cassie thing, we seen that. So yeah, it's like, come on, bro. He was sick for that. You beat the woman in the hallway. You really beat her. So yeah, he was sick for that. But with some of these allegations, I really think they hyped up. I can't not say that. They know this man's a billionaire. Or close to a billionaire. They looking at it like, listen, regardless, I'm going to get some of this money. And we have to be honest. It's some people that are in these lawsuits that really probably didn't have that issue. They was mad because they got burnt for it, because he was beating people over the head. All the artists got beat. We know that. Every artist got beat. Anybody that was with him, he beat him. Biggie, Shine, all of them. They got beat, right? We know that. So all the artists got beat. Of course, it's going to be people coming back. The ladies that he done beat with the record deals, yeah, he did this. But, you know, they was wanting to indulge at the time, but it might have went too far. Because, you know, he was in the sick stuff. So it might have went too far. We not going to lie. Diddy might have went too far. He was a sick dude. Especially if you got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. It's a lot going on. I thought you might get 50, 100. He got 1,000. That was rough. I don't know too many people need that much baby oil. So yeah, that's deep. He was a sick individual, but goddamn, you know, some exaggeration here, man. Some exaggeration here. It's like he didn't do everything they said he did. I don't think so. I just know that the game get crazy, and for them to be going into his cell, taking his legal mail, trying to play the game, they must feel something rocky. It's like they must not be as solid. But they gonna have to deal with that. They gonna have to face that music. I'm telling you, the prosecution is gonna have to face that music by trying to do that sneaky stuff. And that's real. When they do that kind of stuff, that give you appeal rights, man. You gonna be able to come back if it get messy. That's the same thing like Bill Cosby. That's how Bill Cosby, but they made him sit though. Bill Cosby should have never went to jail. I'm trying to tell you. Bill Cosby admitted to something, yeah, But he settled with the admittance. They got paid for him admitting that. They got paid. And then they came and used it later when they knew they shouldn't illegally. But they got the conviction then, and the Supreme Court overturned it. This is the game, though, that they do. And it's bad, man. It is bad. It'll never stop, though. It's like, this is what you endure in life. That's why some people in them situations go crazy. Because it's like, how you just going to do this to me and I can't do nothing? And that's why I tell you, these dudes is puppets. I try to tell y'all that. They straight puppets. They had Diddy, dangling Diddy. I'm going to call him dangling Diddy. They was dangling Diddy, right, over the heads of the people. And now they done with Diddy because he challenged the power structure. And they got him out of here. Let me tell you that. I want to be real. Diddy challenged the power structure and they got him out of there because it's all fake. You think you rich because you got some money. They can take the money from you. They give you the money and they can take it from you. Hold up. Come on, man. Why are you playing these mental games with me? That's what he doing. He thought he was rich and he could not be stopped. And the people took him out. Come on, man. This is the game that they play. They had Diddy in front of us, dangling Diddy. Yo, I want you to present this image to the people. I want you to do this, and we're going to allow you to do this. But he got cocky. He forgot they got records on him too. I'm going to tell you just like that. Diddy forgot. He had tapes on a lot of people, but he forgot they got records on you too. We know what you did. We know you beat Cassie up. We know you did this to Kim. We know you did this to this person. We know you robbed this artist. So all we going to do is turn everybody that hates you up against you. And that's all they did. Now we got these allegations coming out because we know you into sick fetishes. Young Miami went on there saying, yo, I like to get peed on. Oh, we know where that came from. If she's on there talking about I like to get peed on with Diddy in a relationship and then try to take it back because her grandmom said something. Come on, man. She tried to take it back because the grandmom said something. Pay attention, man. This is the game. It's a sick world over there, right? But they really are just puppets. They acting like they have a certain level of control, but it's only over the people that they encounter. When they want to finish you in the game and they want to put you out the game, this what they do. Now this was a serious one. It ain't like, okay, Cassie situation came up. She got paid. Now on the criminal side, they gonna end up bringing her to testify as a witness. It's like all them NDAs and stuff like that, they don't mean nothing when it go time to go to court. They throw them all out. When it's time to be used against you, it's not holding no weight. It starts about sign this NDA. What? What the judge, what did it say, man? Oh, you said this? Oh, did you say this? Oh, all right, bam. Come on, man. You got to pay attention to that, man. People think that it's a game, man. It's not a game, man. For real. It's not a game, man. For real. No cap, man. But I think Diddy just got to fight for his life, man. He got to hope for a miracle. And that's just me being real as I can be. He got to hope for a miracle, man. It's like you got to hope for these technical violations to happen. That's what he need. He need them to do the stuff that they doing. And I'm going to be honest, because it helps him out. And the pill issues, he got a shot by them doing this, what they doing. So it's better for them to play fair. By them playing dirty like that, it's only making their case look crazy. When it go down to the appeal, and matter of fact, the motions. When the motions start taking place, because they ain't even come in play yet. They ain't even put no motions in. When the motions come in play, you better know it's going to be stuff that they going to be getting tossed out left and right. Come on, man. Right now, the stuff that they reporting to the world, they just hyping everything up. And they hyping it up heavy. And when you at the top, oh, man, it ain't no mercy. Don't nobody care. They out for blood. You know, it's like your turn. You can get a turn out there, especially at the top of the game. They throwing all these parties and stuff like that. When you get to throwing all them parties and stuff, what you think gonna happen? It's gonna be crazy stuff going on at them parties, and then people later on in life start regretting that they went to those parties. Let's be real. That's what happens. People that go out to those parties and do that, especially when they're young, little fast, little hot, little in the butt, little girls, they go out to those different parties and lie about their ages and stuff like that. Then they regret it later because they really didn't get nothing out of it, which somebody should have told them in their family that you going to these parties with these older people is not going to get you nothing. But now they want to be compensated because they wanted to be with these celebrities at a young age, and they thought that it was going to get them somewhere. I really think that some some of them young girls that do that, it's like they know better. Why go over there messing with those people, lying about your age, saying you 19, 20, you might be 17, and then you go over there and now somebody got statutory rape and they in trouble. You know what I'm saying? They in trouble. It ain't no joke when they can start coming about that kind of stuff. So it's crazy that kind of stuff happens, but man, you got to pay attention. You hear me? Somebody should be checking that though. You know what I mean? You better be paying attention, man. Them young girls be going to them parties and they be having those type of events, and now they regretting it. Now they regretting what they did, and now it's like, what? 10, 20 years later it could be, and they coming talking about, you did this to me and I didn't want this to happen, and you drugged me, you dropped some in my drink, all this extra crazy stuff, and now you in trouble. You better pay attention, man. You better pay attention. I'm like, these dudes is real sick. They real sick. And it's like they start putting this stuff together. It's like when they get so much money, they go into these sick fetishes. They get so much money, they want to be sickos, man. And it's like, damn, you made it out of everything that's going on around the world, and you want to put yourself back in this mix of going to jail and fighting for your life. And they try and give Diddy life, the elbow, basically. All these allegations, all these abuses, they trying to kill him. End it for him. Over. Finito. Man. But they did say bro holding strong. They did say that. You don't know too many jokers in this situation that wouldn't be in there with their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Even NBA Youngboy look like his shoulders is dropped. Diddy in there with the real deal. NBA Youngboy got 2.5 years. He in there, shoulders dropped, sunk in, looking crazy. He said, Diddy up there standing tall, man. Listen, I got to go to war. And he better, though. Don't look defeated. And in a situation, honestly, like that, you can't look defeated. You got to go to war. You got to stand strong. Your structure in your face has to be solid because the people around you are watching you. And I'm going to be real. So, and he know the world watching him. The whole world is watching this man. He has to be with a stern face. But I know on the inside it's killing him. He been in there, like 2 months? Internally, it's killing him. Going from having everything wherever you want, private jets, to being boxed in a cell, and only person you really can communicate with at will is your attorney. What? Your family, you gotta wait on them, your times to get out the call. It's like, man, and you don't get to see them like that once a week. Man, listen, that right there will break anybody. I'm telling you, that right there is sitting in that box, and he only been in 2 months and on top of the game. So he was mentally preparing himself for this situation. I can bet, because he knew they was coming. So I'm sure he was mentally preparing himself like, yo, I'm ready, had to go in, man. I got to go in, man. It's over. They coming. He was turning himself in too. So, yeah. But it'll break anybody in this situation. I ain't gonna lie. Anybody in this situation right here would be broken coming from everything. And now you in a cell. This here, though, is a situation we don't know, man. We only know the victims know. Diddy know? We don't know. We're going to see what happens when this man go to court. And I doubt his trial is going to be in May. I can doubt that. They said May. They said May. Something like that. But I doubt it. Because they're going to have the motions they putting in. They're going to end up pushing that back. They always do that. He got these dates, but they going to push it back because the prosecution, like, they acting as if they ready, but then they might put a motion in. You know, it's the pump fake game. They act like they ready, get all hyped up, and then, we need a file for an extension. Oh, we need this. Can we get this? Provide this. It's the game. And they going to play the game and extend it as long as they can, right? As long as Diddy is locked up. You know? Diddy want a speedy trial. So, honestly, only fair. If the man don't contact nobody, right? From this point on as he get out, none of the witnesses or anything, right? If he don't contact nobody, he deserved to be out for the 5-6 months to fight for his trial, just like the other guy with the $10 million bill, man. Honestly, man. It's like you deserve to fight your case from the street, man. Now, if you violate that on the street, so they already know that he's under a microscope. If they put him on house arrest and they saying you contact a witness, we're going to lock him, why not give him the shot? I don't even understand. Let him play himself. Why not let him play himself? But some people just want to see other people suffer when they get in bad situations because they're not doing as good as they were. And they might be struggling in their life. We got to be real. I feel the man deserves the bail. And if he violates the bail, then lock him up. That's where I'm at with that. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with that. I feel Diddy deserves the bail just like anybody else. And if he violated, lock him up then. You know? Don't just say that he don't deserve no bail and then give somebody else bail. That's the game though. That's if they really want you, they want to checkmate you. You feel me? If they really want to checkmate you, then they like, nah, no bail. No bail. But the judge might hold him anyway. You know what I'm saying? Or they could let him go. Because he was coming to turn himself in, honestly. He was going to turn himself in. But, you know, they rushed him. They just wanted to make a scene. They like, you know, that surprise. They don't want to make it look good like you coming in. Because then that makes it look like, well, he wasn't fleeing. And we got to be honest with this right there. If he would have did how they expected to do and how he was setting up to do, it would have looked like, oh, he surrendered peacefully. All right, yeah, why not give him the bail? So we got to act like we rushed him and grabbed him before court, right? So it looks like we had to get him. I'm going to tell you, they got so many tactics, man. And it's crazy. It's like the Jedi mind tricks they play. And you don't understand them because they just be playing them. But you see them when you get hit with them. Like, hold on, man. Oh, man, y'all did this to me. Come on. And they're always going to be a surprise, man. You'll never see it coming. It's always a surprise. Jedi mind tricks, man. The game. But you know, I hope that the judge is just fair with the brother. I ain't representing nothing that ain't fair with that system. Anything they do unfair, I feel they should throw it out. That's just my opinion. Anything unfair, throw it out, man. Play the game fair. If y'all win fairly, cool. That's it. If y'all win it fairly, cool. We alright with that. I can respect it. He lost. But when y'all playing dirty, that's when the game get like, come on, man. Y'all on some BS. The system is unfair. That's when everybody starts saying, yo, the system ain't fair. The system ain't fair. You got to play fair, man. Everybody deserves a fair due process, man. Everybody. Not just some of the people. Not just who they want to give it to. Everybody, man. And that's a fact, man. No cap, man. Let's see here, man. They trying to hold it on, Diddy. I ain't gonna lie. They want to hold it on, Diddy. They said, he did what? Hold up. I'm trying to see what they said, Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ha ha. Hey. Let me see. Hold up. Let me see. So. Let me see. Hold up. Mm-hmm. Trying to see something. Hold up. We gonna find out 1 second. Yeah, they definitely trying to cook Diddy. They trying to cook it. It's like, when they start doing this to you, man, and they talking about them documentaries and stuff like that, they want to crush you. They want to take you all the way out the game, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Yeah, they want to take you all the way out the game. We gonna see though. If they deny his bail, he just better not contact nobody else from there, or he better not be thinking about contacting nobody from there, especially not none of them victims. Because I'm telling you, they'll start cutting off them privileges. And the little bit of stuff you get in there, you don't want to lose none of that. I ain't even gonna lie. You only get a little commissary, time out and phone. Like, you don't want to lose none of that. You gotta be crazy. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, Diddy's like, I'm sitting here now. Like, hold up. He's cooked.
Suit, you basically tried to extort other people, etc. So that's the first thing that hit me about this. I hope to be wrong.
There's two ways to look at that. One, you could be 100% right. Two, you're so jaded. Diddy's not behind everything. Keep that in mind, though. Keep that in mind. We're going to talk about this. First question I have for you, actually, do you think a judge is going to allow this John Doe to proceed with this case anonymously? Why do I say that? Because I recently covered a decision by a judge in one of the other sexual assault lawsuits against Sean Combs, and the judge there said that the Jane Doe who had been suing him, she didn't provide compelling reasons to remain anonymous, that Sean Combs has a right to know who she is, a right to challenge her. She was the one who brought this lawsuit, so she put her credibility at issue. They also made the judge also made the note that other people have sued Sean Combs. They revealed themselves. So I'm curious if you think that in this case, if you have somebody who's suing Tony Busby, will they have to reveal themselves at some point?
I think they will have to reveal themselves. I feel that Tony Busby would be fighting tooth and nail to make sure that this person reveals themselves. And, they're going to talk about it almost as a matter of great public importance, right? That the people have a right to know who this person is that's basically trying to come after survivors in theory, right? So there's that aspect. And again, much to your point, what would be the compelling reason for that person not to reveal their identity? Now, to take the other side of this, it's possible that they can argue that, listen, this person is trying to extort me, and they know that my stature in the community is of such that with these allegations, I could lose roles, or I could lose contracts, or I would have some financial loss as a result of my identity being revealed. So I think that could be the avenue that would travel down.
No, I think you're right, because I think identity is the central key question here. The allegation was that he is being extorted so that his identity wouldn't be revealed, that he wouldn't be connected to Diddy, who's incredibly toxic right now. It would be unfair for him to now have to reveal himself for this very purpose. Talking a lawsuit like this, how could I not mention Morgan & Morgan, specialists in litigation, him and so they wouldn't be identified. Your take?
And that's always the concern, right? In terms of whether or not justice is being circumvented in some way, or, people are basically paying just so that they don't get criminally charged, rightfully or wrongfully so. It's still problematic, right? So
is it standard? Is it standard? That's a fair question. Is the standard what Tony Busby's doing?
I think it's fairly standard, because all he's doing, he's being a clearinghouse for all these survivors, or alleged survivors, right? So they're calling him, saying this is what happened. He then vets them to decide whether or not they have a credible story, see if it can be corroborated, see if they can even move forward to trial. My understanding, I don't know him, I have no dog in that fight, but my understanding is that he has turned down certain survivors because he's like, there's not enough there for me to move forward. So you have to have some evidence to move forward with a good faith basis for your lawsuit. And
I guess the concern is, if you're a high profile celebrity and you're getting this letter and you're like, these claims are totally false. Tony Busby might believe they're true, but they're totally false. Me being named in this lawsuit, me even fighting it, that's a problem for me. That's already created, everybody's waiting for a name to be listed. So is it fair? I'm not innocent until proven guilty anymore. I'm not, not liable anymore. As soon as I'm named in this lawsuit, my career is over. I have no choice but to pay. And there's something, and it's funny because I've spoken about this before, where people say there's something feels a little wrong about what Tony Busby's doing. So that's why I asked you, is it standard?
Yeah, I mean, it is standard in terms of reaching out and saying, hey, listen, I've been contacted by, someone who is looking to file a lawsuit against you, whatever. Here's where we think we're going. Do you want to settle? Let's settle right now before we even put anyone through this drama before we have to make the survivor testify, before we have to do depositions and go through the whole process. Maybe we could just settle right off the bat. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
But that fear, and I'm with you on that, Jesse, that fear of, I could fight this, but I'm going to lose so much more in the long run, that could be a deterrent and would make someone pay up. But at the same token, I'm hopeful that if you are wrongfully being accused of this, I mean, if it was me, heaven forbid, I think I would go on the offensive and like name myself. I would come out and say, listen, I have been, Tony Busby reached out to me saying that so-and-so alleged that I did XYZ to them. I categorically deny it. And basically you come out on the offensive before anything gets filed. So that could maybe deter the case from moving forward, possibly.
The other argument is for Tony Busby, hey, you know what? I didn't have to give you a demand letter. I didn't have to let you know. I could have just filed this lawsuit, named you. You would have already, your career would have been done. How embarrassing that would be for you. I'm giving you a chance to get out of this.
Yeah, and that's the way I'm sure he's thinking about it, right? That he's not only sparing his client the agony of having to go through a trial, but you're also helping the defendant out in terms of, hey, you can resolve this quietly without completely destroying your career. But again, to me, is that justice? I don't know. It depends on what the survivor wants and how they want to move forward. But to me, it's about naming and shaming and putting the people out there that have cooperated and enabled Sean Diddy Combs to do what he did to so many people over decades.
Melba, going back to something that you mentioned, right? So we don't really know who this John Doe is. It's apparently somebody who's well known, has attended events with Diddy. Hasn't really said they're friends with Diddy, though. But let's say, these allegations are not true. Could you see this lawsuit, who may very well be an associate of Diddy, to try to divert accusations away, right? That I think that's an interesting point about it, is trying to divert accusations away from him and Sean Combs.
Yeah, I mean, and again, yes, I could be very jaded, and I want to be wrong. Let's be very clear on that. But I do get that feeling that this is a way to muddy the waters and to say that, are all these survivors really survivors? Is this really just a big extortion claim? And that's part of the argument that Diddy has been using and through his attorneys, that basically these are all, he said he categorically denies any of these allegations, and that this is just all a play for publicity and for money. So it's a similar argument that he makes in his own case in chief for the human trafficking that is showing up in this particular lawsuit, which the coincidence was too much for me. That's
Well, let me ask you this. One of the things that's listed in the lawsuit are these prior instances where Tony Busby allegedly had tried this tactic. So there's one instance named in this lawsuit involving NFL player Deshaun Watson, who was accused by several women of sexual misconduct. Busby was representing the accusers, and the suit reportedly claims that Busby tried to force Watson into a settlement by making false claims that purportedly would not stand up in court. Another case mentioned is the Green Bay Packers kicker Brandon McManus. And in his case, Busby allegedly threatened to sue over accusations of sexual assault. But the NFL investigated the claims, found that there was no evidence. The case was closed. Melba, thoughts on those prior cases, how they might play into this current lawsuit?
Man, they all play dirty.
So if there is clearly even though this is a civil lawsuit, it's almost like a common plan or scheme, right? And so if you're always approaching these cases in the same way, where it's very light on facts, very heavy in basically pay up or else, that can show that this is a pattern and this is how he conducts business, which gives more credibility to what the defendant is saying in this particular instance. However, just because you represent someone and their case falls apart doesn't mean they weren't telling the truth. So much like in a criminal case, you may be defending someone who is accused of murder. Doesn't mean that they did it. It just means that they're accused of it. And that maybe the case falls apart. You end up getting a not guilty, or the case ends up being dropped by the prosecutor. It happens. So I don't think necessarily the fact that the case ended up being closed means that the football player didn't do anything. But at the same token, it is a cause for concern as to whether or not, he's extorting people and pushing the envelope a little too far.
Now, Tony Busby, he actually appeared in a TMZ documentary on Tubi. It's called The Downfall of Diddy Inside the Freak-Offs, and he was asked about how he was handling these civil lawsuits against Combs. And he essentially admitted that part of his strategy is to include embarrassing or damaging information in his demand letters, and he explains it's the game. He explained that by doing this, he pressures people into paying money to avoid public exposure of this information. Whether or not that information that he included is true or not, that's a separate issue that wasn't addressed. But Melba, I'm thinking about this, and I'm wondering, let's say this actually goes to a trial, and there's a negative result for Tony Busby. Does that jeopardize all of the cases that have been filed or will be filed against Sean Combs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If Tony Busby ends up being, getting a judgment against him in terms of how he acted in this case, that's going to cast doubt on any of the settlements he already got in terms of, was that as a result of extortion, or was that as a result of, someone truly is like, yeah, okay, I was involved in this, let me resolve it quietly. You have that. And then you have the pending lawsuits where now you have an attorney that has been discredited. And so how do you move forward as a survivor when your attorney is basically persona non grata? How does that move your case forward? It doesn't. So all of these survivors will now have to find likely alternative counsel. So there's huge ripple effects that could come from this. So I really hope, for the survivor's sake, because they've been through so much, and now to have a situation where the civil case becomes even muddier because they could not get resolution in criminal court, maybe, statute of limitations. This happened 20 years ago. They didn't feel that they could come forward. Maybe they couldn't do something under the Adult Survivors Act in New York or California or something along those lines. Yeah. I'm worried about the survivors and the effect that's going to have on them.
It's interesting. So this John Doe basically claims that Busby gave him a ticking clock on what to do. And I want to read you some statements from both sides. And then my question to you is going to be, because of this lawsuit, is Tony Busby going to stop doing this tactic? Is he just now going to continue to file lawsuits but name people? So keep that in mind. But this is what the Quinn Emanuel law firm representing John Doe is saying. They issued a statement following the suit saying, Busby has established a pattern of leaving baseless, fabricated, and malicious allegations at high-profile individuals and threatening to name them publicly if they fail to pay exorbitant sums of money. Busby then uses this money to fund his lavish lifestyle. He has deployed these threats and letters, statements to the press, his website, and on social media in recent months to try to shake down these well-known individuals. Now, Tony Busby has denied these accusations, saying the lawsuit is just an attempt to stop him from doing his job. He even fired back with a statement of his own to the Houston Chronicle, saying that the claims are without merit and laughable. We won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence sexual assault survivors. It is obvious that the frivolous lawsuit filed against my firm is an aggressive attempt to intimidate or silence me and ultimately my clients. That effort is a gross miscalculation. I am a U.S. Marine. I won't be silenced or intimidated. And Busby went on to say that he sent letters, but those are part of the normal legal process, that these letters are not threats, but they're just requests to try to settle the case privately before going to court. The letters were sent seeking a confidential mediation in lieu of filing a lawsuit. No amount of money was included in the demand letters. No threats were made. The demand letters sent are no different than the ones routinely sent by lawyers across the country in all types of cases. Melba, your reaction to both statements, and also, do you think this is going to deter Tony Busby from doing what he's been doing?
I don't think it's going to deter him, especially if the letters at issue are, again, standard boilerplate language. Basically like, hey, you're being named in this particular lawsuit. Here are the options available. We can have mediation. We can maybe come up with a settlement, whatever the case may be. Contact my office. Let's set up an appointment. The threat is not blatant, right? But the threat is also implied, because the reality is, that if you don't agree to do mediation or go down that path, there's going to be a lawsuit filed and your name is going to be named and all the collateral consequences that come with that. So, but I don't see him changing his tactic. But I really do see that concern in terms of what is it going to mean for the survivors? Are they now going to feel silent? Are they now going to be less or more reluctant to come forward to any attorney because of fear that their case is going to end up, getting caught in some weird matrix and that it can't move forward, or it's not even about the facts anymore. It's about all these other issues. And that is even more traumatizing to a survivor and would make them less likely to want to come forward and report. To me, it's just another barrier or boundary, so to speak, that's going to impact survivors. So, but I kind of agree with him, though, on his statements.
So big picture here, Melba, as we're thinking about this, right? Sean Combs, currently sitting in the MDC, he's facing sex trafficking, racketeering, transportation to engage in prostitution charges. He's facing so many different lawsuits, including those filed by Tony Buzbee, where you have people say that they were drugged and assaulted by Combs when they were minors. I mean, this is really, really sadistic, disgusting stuff we're talking about. Even though they're allegations, right? It's still just kind of hard to process. But my question is, do you think that if Buzbee continues to file more of these lawsuits, either the way he's doing it now or maybe change up tactics, he says it's not just Sean Combs is involved, but other celebrities. He's listed them out, not by name, but celebrity A, celebrity B. Are we going to know eventually who these people are?
I hope so. Because I very much want to know who celebrity A and celebrity B is, especially as alleged
They try to keep them names
raped a young
tight.
child. I wouldn't want to be supporting them in any way, buying their music or watching their movies or whatever the case may be, if that's the kind of person that they are. So I hope we get to know who these celebrities are. And again, also for closure and for transparency, so people know who they're dealing with. And again, Sean Diddy Combs did not do this alone. This was not in a vacuum. Yeah. This was the rich and powerful of Hollywood converging, getting together in these parties to abuse women, boys.
Well, that's the point, right? Is it fair that they can get out of this? Assuming all of this is true. It's not, we don't know if it's true, but assuming all of this is true, is it fair that they get out of it by just paying a settlement?
I don't think it's fair. I think they should be named and shamed. Period. End of story.
So in other words, you're saying Tony Buzbee should actually, if he believes he's got the goods, he should file these lawsuits against everybody and name names.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe his tactic was just trying to expedite things because, again, if you're having hundreds and hundreds of people, that means hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits and being bogged down in the legal process for years. So he's like, listen, let me see if I can expedite this. You get these people settlements and then they can move on with their lives and we go on to the next one. But, I think that if these letters are so problematic, then maybe John Doe has just destroyed it for everyone else because now moving forward, he would just name and shame and move forward from there. I don't know if that's necessarily more preferable, but that may be what we're left with depending on the outcome of this trial.
We shall see, and we'll see if Tony Buzbee does do this.
Yeah, man. Buzbee is getting all the victims together and about to file them lawsuits on those John Does. It's a lot of people that was in the freak offs that don't want their name out there, but I guess they not biting for the settlements that they sent out, and they trying to, file a lawsuit on the tactics saying that Buzbee is using his power to try to intimidate them. So these type of things can go left. It can go left for Buzbee's side because it could be looked at as him trying to take advantage of the situation to threaten these people to settle with the victims, or the victims might got to go find another attorney. So it could get real messy with that one. And we're going to see if anybody wants to settle to try to keep their name out of it. They're going to say, okay, this person settled, but they're not going to say the name A or B. But we're going to see if somebody settle. But I think if they play with Buzbee, he going to go ahead and file. He going to go ahead and file the lawsuit and put the people out there. And these people that participated, they should put their names out there, honestly. Because if they got Diddy all the way out there, why do you want to hide these other people? Come on, man. Then they get to continue to do the puppet game with us and then hide certain people from us, and they're going to continue to be who they are. You got to be honest. If somebody was out there doing these freak offs with some young girls and they're able to hide themselves out of it, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing. That's something that they just not going to stop and turn that off. They might be nervous now because they're in a situation, but that's their behavior, man. And I really think the world should know who that is. If they out there going at this level, messing with them young girls, the world should know. We know about Diddy's situation, if it's true or what's not true, but his situation is talked about heavy. And that's all they talking about. So we know all the details about him and what's going on. Why can't we know about the victims? I mean, the people that was with him. Why can't we know? Why do they get to get kept anonymous? Because these dudes are some powerful dudes, and it's going to shake some real heavy rooms. And that's why they not putting it out there. So it's like, I really think it's coming from another level not to put them out there. Because it might be some people that are in some power that are making some decisions. So we don't want to put them out there, but if they are in power making some decisions out there, they definitely don't want their name out there, because it's going to shake whatever that's involved with way up. Now the world is going to be looking at whatever that is as like everything is tainted in there. So this is like major how they calculate to bring these names out. Major. And that's what the guy said. He said he didn't want to bring no names out until he was certain that he had everything. And this is the prosecutor. He said he wanted to make sure he was certain. Whenever he released anybody's name that was associated to any free golf, he wanted to be like everything, T's, I's, everything, because he knew it was going to come down heavy. And these dudes got money, so they're going to have major lawyers pressing. So, and it's like so many people connected to this Diddy thing, man. It's crazy. And we just haven't seen the names. They keep talking about the names. Nobody got the list right now, man. Everybody's speculating from the associations with Diddy. The list ain't hit yet. And they're being mindful about dropping these names. Because if they drop the names, they already know it's going to be like the crowd is going to go crazy. Every blog is going to be talking about whoever this is. Whoever this is, he's going to turn into Diddy's like co-conspirator. You understand that? Whoever they come out with the name is going to go, that's Diddy's co-conspirator. So they might come out with the name so they can get some people to flip. And I'm going to tell you that, like, honestly. They might really come out with some names so they can get some people to flip. They might need some backup. Like, yo, we're going to drop your name out here if you don't tell us what happened. If you don't admit what you was doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they get them people to consent to tell on themselves. That's crazy. It's real crazy, though. They literally do that. You hear me? These people will literally get you to consent to telling yourself, yo, you better admit or we're going to do this. And if they're smart, you got to fight it. You don't want to try to cooperate and help nobody. And, you know, if they're in that situation, they better not try to like help nothing. Because if they do, they're going to be a co-conspirator and they're going to go down with them. It's just going to strengthen the case. But we should know who these people are, honestly. Like, the world should know. This should be put to us. We should know specifically who is who. Why are they keeping that from us? These people are that powerful. You've never heard nothing like this. And that's how you know this is like a different level of power. And the people that wanted to be brought down, they not connected to these people. It's like Diddy was linked in so many areas. These people that are connected to Diddy over here, they not connected to the bring down people. So it's like a lot of powerful people this dude was connected with. And these dudes over here able to keep their names out of the public eye. That lets you know they was heavy. You hear me? And it's quiet. It's straight quiet over there. We not even going to cap with that. It's quiet over there. Real quiet. All them names. That's why you don't hear nothing from a lot of celebrities. It's quiet. You hear Ray J talking though. I can say that because he know he ready to go down. He know he ready to go down. That's why Ray J talking. I ain't even gonna lie. We know they ready to get Ray J. He was involved with a lot of crazy stuff with them people, man. He been around too long, and they already said he with the Sweet Crew too. You understand what I'm saying? So they gonna get Ray J too. So he just talking. But the people that's silent, you know what I'm saying, that was close to Diddy. Diddy had the cameras set up with the freak offs. They know I might be on tape, dog. They got me, man. It's going down. You hear me? It get real out there, man. And it's a couple people, a lot of people. I know they shook, scared to death. Like, man, they gonna get me. I'm on the tape. And we gonna see though, because this right here, it has to come out. If this don't come out, these are some powerful, it might be some lawyers on there. You hear me? I ain't even gonna lie. It might be some lawyers or something. Somebody that's heavy connected. If this don't come out, that's powerful, man. Because how are they talking about Diddy in the list and Diddy's still alive and the list don't come out? The list just like Epstein's list. Let's be real. This list right here is just like Epstein's list. Epstein's list didn't come out. They give you some bogus names, tell you, no, we want the list, man. Don't try to throw a couple pebbles at us. You ever said, we don't want a couple pebbles. You will be tell us, okay, here, take this. Bird feed me, man. We want to know the list of all the people that are on the list. It's only right. We want to know all the sick individuals that was doing all the sickness so we can know who to watch out for. Think about it. If you going out here supporting this person and they was doing all the sick stuff at the Diddy parties, right? And you really in love with this person, man. You like, man, that's my baby. Listen, my baby, right? You supporting them. And they was doing all the sick stuff at the free calls. How you gonna feel about spending your money with the co-conspirators of Diddy? I don't think you'd be too happy with that. Let's be real, man. Diddy got some co-conspirators that are about to be put out, man. They got to put them out. If y'all think they should put them out, let me know. For real. I think they going to get them. All of them. It might be time, though. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, though, it might be time, though. They try and keep them anonymous to do the shakedown for the money. But I think the reason why I think that it's going to either slip out or they're going to put him out the right way because the lawyer got all the names. So it'll come up like he lost them. Somebody got to him. He didn't, it's going to be something. If they, and listen, and they pissing this attorney off. The Busby guy, they pissing him off. I ain't gonna lie. They pissing Busby off because they trying to play with his name. So I think he might just let the stuff out anyway. They playing with my name. I might just let it out. So we gonna see how this game go. You know what I'm saying? And we've been in here for a nice amount of time tonight, man. I appreciate anybody watching the channel, man. I appreciate everybody subscribe to the channel. And y'all let me know how y'all feel about Diddy, man. How's it looking? Y'all think that's a real W that he got the judge to throw out the evidence that they were trying to use against him because he said it was legal mail. Is that a W for Diddy right there? Or, you know, Diddy's in trouble when they go for the bail hearing on Friday and the judge is not going for it. Because he has a chance on Friday, man. Friday will be here shortly. It's Wednesday. They got 2 days. And we're going to see what the bail hearing is hitting for. Are they going to give bro a shot? Or are they going to just let him sit? They let him sit. It is what it is, man. That'll be the situation he in, though. You know what I'm saying? Happens to the best of them, man. It's your boy Deezy, though, man. It's not about the setback. It's about the get back. Nah.